Good afternoon, everyone. This is the 2 o'clock state expedited accusation calendar. Ms. Strong, when is the SAP reset date?
It's May the 28th.
Okay, thank you. Courtroom 2 or ACDC, we're ready to proceed whenever you all are.
We're ready, John.
Okay. Let's see. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. If you have any objection to our conducting it by video, please let me know when I speak with you. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We have provided to you the assistance of a public defender today if you choose to utilize their services. Who do we have first?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Coming up is
Afternoon.
position number 5, Ms. Garman.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Garman. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0030288 with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Yes, Ms. Desiano. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
I'm sorry. I just
Go ahead,
want
Mr.
to. There are cross defendants in this case. Is that correct, Ms. Desiano?
Yes, this
Okay.
is cross defendants with position 6, Judge. It's my understanding position 6 is a male. I don't know if we want to pull him up to the table if he's in courtroom 2, and we can do both at the same time.
Okay. Do we have it's Courtney Hardiman?
He's in courtroom 2.
Okay.
Okay.
And is this Courtney Hardiman here?
Yes, say so.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. And let's see, do we have attorneys for both Ms. Garman and Courtney Hardiman?
Mr. Hardiman got the conflict attorney. I don't. We requested it. I don't know.
He
Never
spoke with McLeod, but I don't see that if she's on.
Ms. McLeod is in on trial today, is my understanding. Let's see.
She's
So
here.
does Mr.
Coming on the line now, Judge.
Oh, okay. Ms. McLeod, let's see, are you with us?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I am.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. We happen to have your client, Courtney Hardiman, position 6, who's a cross defendant. Have you had the opportunity to speak?
I have, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll proceed also. Mr. Hardiman, you've been charged in case 24 CR 0030291Y with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No, he's 17.
Okay.
Your Honor, this
yes.
incident took place on May 12th, 2024. Officers responded to 836 Sandy Creek Road in Atlanta in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officers made contact with the defendant's mother, Shahira Hardiman, who was the one who called the police. She advised that her daughter, who's defendant Garman, was upset with her brother, which is defendant Hardiman. The mother asked the daughter to leave and asked the son to help collect the daughter's belongings. The mother advised that when the son took the daughter's things from her room and then to move them into the living room per his mother's request, defendant Garman began to strike the son and a fight broke out and the mother had to break them up. The police then spoke with the daughter, who's defendant Garman, and she said that it was the son, defendant Hardiman, who actually struck her first, and she fought back in self-defense. The police were unable to determine who the primary aggressor was and arrested both of them at the scene. Police have responded to this residence multiple times in reference to these two individuals in reference to verbal disputes, but no one's ever been arrested. At this point, the state will recommend for both defendants a signature bond through pretrial services. As far as contact goes, I'll defer to the attorneys. The state has no objection to no further violent contact as they all live together. If one of them does have an objection to that, then I would just defer to the court as far as contact and then and who's going to stay away, and then no weapons, drugs, or alcohol.
So this is the brother and sister?
Brother and sister, correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. McLeod or Mr. Cook, who wants to go first?
I'll jump in, not to
Okay.
be rude. We don't have any objection to that recommendation, Your Honor. The signature bond, level 1, and the no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
No further violent contact. I was able to speak with Mom, and I sent her the link. She may be on the Zoom. She's very distraught. She said, you know, she did not expect her son to be arrested. She's very concerned for his safety. Actually, she was crying when I spoke with her. She says nobody has contacted her. She didn't know what was happening with him. He has allergies and so on, and she was just concerned about his safety in the jail. All of that being said, she said he was just helping her and acting on her instructions. And she was shocked that they arrested him. She was very disturbed about that. I just wanted to put that on the record. I do have her information if the court requires her to sign for his bond. And she has expressed that she loves both of her children. And, you know, she's just distraught about the entire incident.
And what's her name, Ms. McLeod? The mother?
Her name is, let me just
It's
look at my
Shahira
notes.
Hardiman, Your Honor.
Shahira Hardiman.
Shahira Hardiman.
Okay.
Shahirahardeman.
Okay, this is Ms. Hardiman on the line here. Ms. Hardiman, if you will unmute yourself for me and raise your right hand.
I got the baby in my arm. I apologize.
Okay, all right. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, all right. What do you want to tell me about your children?
I love my kids. I really do. We are just like anybody else's family. We just want them. Only thing it is that day they was a little hot. The baby was playing the game. And normally when he plays the game, he's a little loud and excited when he's playing with his friends online. You know, that's how kids are. But at times when he was excited, the baby was asleep. I don't think he really knew that the baby was asleep, or by him playing it with the earphones in, he couldn't really hear. He couldn't really tell. I mean, their rooms are so close that it's loud either way it goes. The walls are thin. So, before I could text him and make him aware that the situation had already started to where they was already arguing. So by the time I got home, it was a little calm or whatever, but it had kind of arose again, like with them talking, and she threw her hands up or whatnot. I'm not sure what she was doing at the phone. She threw her hands up, but he just grabbed her hand. And when he grabbed her hand, he was basically holding it up, you know, just in the air, but she had the baby in another hand. About how he was holding it up, he just like, Mom, you know, just move from under us, because I was standing underneath in between the two of them. He was trying to stop her from swinging her arms or whatever, you know, because she was swinging her hands. And he was trying to grab hold of her and let her know to stop swinging her hands or whatever, because she had the baby in her hand and she was trying to basically stop him from getting taking her stuff out of the room. So with that stated, it just kind of, it went the wrong way, Your Honor. And he wasn't hitting her. She wasn't trying to hit him. Basically, I was standing between the two of them, and she was trying to get out of the room or whatnot, and he was trying to get in the room to do what I told him to do. So basically, he was following.
Call the police, Ms. Hardiman.
Sir?
Who called the police?
I did, because it was
Okay.
just too loud in there.
Okay, so this is your home?
it is.
Okay, and you've got one 17-year-old son. How old's your daughter?
She's
22.
22.
22, and they both live with you?
Yes, sir. I
And this
love
is
her.
this is my understanding, and this has happened before, but they haven't been arrested before, but
Right, yes, sir, but I believe they learned their lesson.
okay, do you want them both back in the household with you?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I love my babies. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Please,
Okay, well, how are we gonna keep them, how are we gonna keep them from fighting?
because we don't know that they learned their lesson. I believe
Okay.
they learned. They've never been in a situation like this, so I truly believe they learned their lesson. I really
All
do.
right, you two
I
need to
really-
respect, you both need to respect your mother's home, okay? She's allowing you to live there. You can't be causing a ruckus of in the home. I'm gonna give them both signature bonds, but for both of you, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to sign your own bonds and get out, but don't let me see you back here. You both need to respect your mother and your mother's home. You understand me? So it's gonna be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, no further violent contact with one another, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, don't either one of you make your mother have to come back here and plead for me to let you out of jail again.
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we could go to position number 10, Ms. Breather.
Good afternoon, Ms. Prather. You've been charged in case 24CR003019D with battery family violence. Is there a history?
No. She's 17.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. McConkey.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. The officer responded to the incident location in reference to a fight. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the defendant, who stated that she had gotten into an argument with her mom, Brianna Prather, who is the victim. The defendant struck the victim in the face, and the officer observed a knot on the side of the victim's forehead. A witness, Dee Prather, did confirm to the police that she heard the argument, walked into the room, and witnessed the defendant strike the victim. Our office did have a chance to speak with the victim, who confirmed that she is the mother of the defendant and that they do not live together. The victim stated the incident location is her residence, and confirmed the events in the warrant. The victim did state that she sustained a black eye, and this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her and other members of the family. She stated that she has called the police on the defendant numerous times, but the defendant keeps getting away with her behavior. The defendant's behavior is only getting worse, according to the victim, and she stated that she is in the process of filing for a TPO. She wants no contact with the defendant and wants her to stay away from the residence. The state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, 1-day anger management, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. At this time, I will sound for the victim, Ms. Brianna Prather.
And what is the incident location, Ms. McConkey?
I have the incident location as 2998 East Point Street in East Point, Georgia.
If Ms. Brianna Prather is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Hi, my name is Brianna Prather. I would just
Okay.
like to.
Hold on, Ms. Prather. I'm happy to have you here this afternoon. I have to have you raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to tell the court that this is not, as she was saying, this is not an isolated incident. This has started over probably about 5 years ago, and it's escalated up to this point. Started as getting in trouble in school, then running away, then, drinking and doing drugs. And it's just gotten to the point. My mom passed away last November, and I feel like ever since my mom passed away, it's gotten worse. But never did I think that, like, she's attempted to put her hands on me before, but never actually connected with my face until the other day. And so this all stemmed from a pair of headphones, which my other daughter found. So she was threatening to beat up everybody in the house, from what I'm hearing, over these headphones, which were here the whole time. And so I've been asked to sign a bond. I'm not signing the bond. I'm not going to sign the bond because this is the first time the police have been here numerous times because of things that she has done and nothing has been done. She has
So-
never been held accountable for her actions up until now.
So she is not welcome in your household, I understand. Do you know where she would go if she doesn't live with you?
She's been living with a friend as far as I know. She's
Okay, so
on run. She's on run. She's a runaway.
okay, so she does not reside with you at the present time.
No, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you being here this afternoon.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ty.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client is only 17 years old, barely 17 years old. She had a birthday at the end of February. She does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. I mean, she has her own side to the story. She does state that the complaining witness was the first aggressor. As you heard, she hasn't been living with her mother. She was kicked out a while ago. She's been in and out of custody with DFACS as well, Your Honor, since 2018. The mom's not going to co-sign the bond, and I haven't been able, and her mother doesn't know who she's living with. She states that she has an address and she's been living for months with another person, but I don't have a phone number or any a contact for her other than the address. So, I mean, it's her first arrest, so I know that she's qualified for a signature bond. I don't know if there's any way that we can do something that doesn't require a parent co-signer.
Well, Mr. Ty, you know I'm not going to put a 17-year-old on the street that doesn't have any place to go.
She's been on the street, Your Honor. But she states that she has somewhere to go. I just don't have any contact information other than the address for this person.
Okay, I'm gonna give her a bond today, Mr. Ty, and maybe if you'll work with her overnight. I'm on the SEA calendar again tomorrow. I'll ask to see her again tomorrow. Maybe we can find her. If you can work with a social worker, find her a place to go. At the present time, it's going to be $1,000 surety bond. No further contact with Miss Brianna Prather. Stay away from the 2998 East Point Street address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. If you want to bring her back tomorrow, have a social worker visit with her, see if we can find her, even if it's whatever type of housing that we could possibly find for her. I'll consider modifying the bond tomorrow.
Next, we could go to position number
Hold
11.
on. I'm not done yet. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
So is that Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm planning on seeing her again, and I'll try to find the person that she's been living with. She considers as a second mother or a first mother.
Okay, and do have a social worker visit with her, even if you can find some some type of temporary housing or some place that she can go to where I don't let her out and she just goes onto the street. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry, can I say something?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Lamaya has recently, I found out that she has been doing drugs. And so I think she needs something.
Oh,
She's here.
okay, well, this is only a bond hearing, ma'am. So I'm trying to get your daughter some housing and not just place her back on the street. I will deal with the drug issue. Also, as a condition of her bond, she's not to have any drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Given her age, she should not have any of those things anyway. But she'll be in violation of her bond if she does. But at this point in time, I'm trying to take it a step at a time. It's only a bond hearing, and I don't want to place this young lady back on the street without any place to go.
I understand.
Okay, all right. All right, so I will see Miss Lamaya Prather back tomorrow, if we can find something for her.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, who do we have next?
Position number 11, Miss Marie Presley.
And position 11 is a dual arrest with position 12, Ms. Tiny Scott.
Okay, so let's see. Good afternoon, Ms. Presley and Ms. Scott. Ms. Presley, you've been charged in case 24 CR 003022F with battery family violence. Ms. Scott, you have been charged in case 24 CR 003023G with battery family violence. Does Ms. Presley have a history, Mr. Howard?
Second, 2022 theft by conversion. Scott, fourth arrest, 2022 simple assault, 2017 stolen property burglary dismissed, and a 2014 driving under suspension conviction.
Yes, Ms. McConkey.
Thank you, Your Honor. The officer arrived at the incident location, which I have as 57 Forsyth Street Northwest, in regards to a dispute. The officer met with defendant Presley, who stated that she was attacked by her girlfriend, defendant Scott. When the officer entered the residence, defendant Scott started yelling from the bed where she was laying down. Defendant Presley stated that her and defendant Scott got into an argument regarding infidelity, and defendant Presley began to pack her items to leave. Defendant Scott then grabbed her arm, pushed her head on the bed, and punched defendant Presley several times in the face, as well as pulled her hair. Defendant Presley had swelling on the side of her face, as well as a busted lip that was bleeding at the time. Defendant Scott stated that defendant Presley had punched her in the face, though the officer did note a small scratch on defendant Scott's face. The incident report, I will note, lists that defendant Scott was the primary aggressor because she continued to attack defendant Presley as she was leaving, but both parties were placed under arrest because of the visible injuries. For defendant Presley, the state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial, no further contact with defendant Scott, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. For defendant Scott, the state is also recommending a signature bond through pretrial, no further contact with defendant Presley, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And because the incident report did list her as the aggressor, to stay away from the incident location.
Your Honor, my client is Miss Presley, and she is 30 years old, Your Honor, and we have no objection to signature on bond through pretrial. However, the contact, my client wants to have a no further violent contact. They have been living together for 1.5 years. She is basically main supporter for Miss Scott in terms of medical needs, and she wants to continuously support. She wants to help out, even though the house is in my client's name, Miss Presley's name, and Miss Scott is a guest. My client is willing to go to her grandparents' house at Alpharetta, so that way Miss Scott has a place to stay. Miss Scott does not have a job right now, and she does not have income to pay for, and she has nobody else to go to in terms of relatives or any other place to. And my client does not want her to be homeless or anything like that. We strongly request for a signature on bond through jail and no further violent contact. And yet, if Your Honor is not inclined to give her no further violent contact, we ask for her to return home, Scott to return home at 57 Forsyth Street. And also, Your Honor, my client is gainfully employed, and she's very afraid that she's going to lose her job because she has been missing her work, and she graduated from high school. That's about it, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor. My client also prefers no further violent contact, Your Honor.
Okay.
They live together. My client says it was sort of a misunderstanding, and she regrets that the police was called. It was just, she tells me that she and her partner, they were discussing something, and it was something of a sensitive nature, and it sort of went south. But she tells me that she does want to have contact with her and would prefer no further violent contact, which I gather is Miss Presley's wish as well, Your Honor.
Okay, well, I take it certainly did go south with the both sitting up in jail today, so given the histories for each, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with one another, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Given what I've heard, I'll let you both sign your own bonds to get out. But if you come back before this court, you won't get a signature bond next time, either of you. All right.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right. Good luck to you both.
Next, we could do position number 4, Ms. Correa.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003030Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7 total. 2019 suspended license no low. 2013 theft by taking. 2012 failure to repair.
Yes, Ms. McConkey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officers responded to the incident location, which is 6633 Beaver Creek Trail in South Fulton, in reference to a fight. The parties got into an argument regarding the victim, Morris Lincoln, obtaining the number of a CarMax employee. The defendant started attacking the victim and punched him in the mouth, causing a laceration on the victim's lip, as well as scratches to his face. The victim stated that he tried to restrain the defendant by keeping her hands against her ribs. The defendant stated that it was the victim who attacked her and that she might have scratched him while she was trying to protect herself. The granddaughter of the parties was present during the altercation, and the officer did speak with her. The officer found no marks on the defendant's body that corroborated her story, and the officer determined that the defendant was the aggressor. Our office has had a chance to speak with the defendant, who confirms that the parties are married and live together at the incident location, and also confirmed the events of the warrant. The victim stated that the defendant has been acting outside of herself, and he believes the defendant has a mental health issue and needs a mental health evaluation. The victim stated that this past week, the defendant smashed the television, and in March, she was flipping over furniture in the home. He is very concerned for the defendant and wants her to get help. He is not in fear of the defendant and is okay with her returning to the residence. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial, no further violent contact with the victim, an MAGT, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. At this time, I will sound for the victim, Mr. Morris Lincoln.
I'm here. Hello.
Yes, give me a moment, Mr. Lincoln. Good afternoon, sir. No, you're fine.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes, I
Do you
can.
swear thank you. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down, Mr. Lincoln. Thank you. What would you like to tell the court?
Your Honor, I just want my wife to get some help. We've been together for like 17 years now. Got 3 grown kids, 6 grandkids. She is a strong part of this family. It's just like I said, recently she's just been acting differently, and you just get her some anger management, or just get her to listen. But I don't think she's going to be a danger if she comes back. I just need her to be able to listen, and I'm willing to work with it. I want to get her back the way she used to be. It's just her pattern lately has just been not herself, and this is where we're at right now. So
From what I'm hearing from you, you do want her back in the household, and you do not fear her.
no, Your Honor, I do not.
Okay, and has this happened before?
No, not getting arrested, not like this. No, sir.
Okay. We appreciate you being here this afternoon, Mr. Lincoln. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Ty.
Your Honor, my client is 55 years old. She is a Georgia resident. She also has custody of two minor grandchildren, 15 years old and 9 years old. She does work delivering for Uber Eats and also is disabled, Your Honor. She has very little criminal history. I'm sorry, I missed everything that was read, but I think the most recent thing was 5 years ago and it was traffic. She has no violent history. I think an MHET or really any restrictions would be excessive at this point. I would ask for a signature bond through the jail with, of course, no violent contact. Nothing further. She does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant, states that she's innocent as well.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Lincoln, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Thank you,
What
Your
level,
Honor.
You're welcome.
what level was the signature bond?
Yes, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial,
What level?
level 1.
Next, we can go to position number 1, Antonio Blackman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Blackman. Let's see, you've been charged in case 24 CR 003020C with battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history?
21. 2023, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Failed to have license on person. Operating a vehicle without lights. 23 CP 215934. 2013 ag assault conviction. 2012 ag assault, cruelty to children. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon. Possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission. Possession of a sawed-off shotgun conviction.
Okay, Ms. Desiano?
Your Honor, this incident occurred on May 12th, 2024. Officers were dispatched to a fight in progress call at 2881 Grand Avenue Southwest in Atlanta. Upon arrival, they were met with the victim, whose name is Melissa Ham, who stated that she and her boyfriend, whom she lives with, got into an argument and he choked her. Ms. Ham stated that she was in the kitchen cooking when her boyfriend, the defendant, walked in and began to argue with her. Ms. Ham stated that the defendant pushed her cheek with his index finger and walked away, and then came back into the kitchen yelling and choked her with both of his hands around her neck, leaving bruises and cuts on both sides of her neck and chin. Ms. Ham stated that she yelled out for help, and it was actually the party's son, juvenile JB, who had to come and get the defendant off of his mother. The son's girlfriend, juvenile AS, was also in the kitchen and saw this entire thing take place. Our office has been in touch with the victim judge. She said they're in a relationship. They live together at the incident location. They share 2 children. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She said the defendant choked her, but that she was able to breathe and did not feel like she was going to lose consciousness. She said nothing like this has ever happened before. She's not in fear and wants to continue contact and wants him to be able to return to the residence. Respectfully, Judge, this man's record, he's on felony probation for 2 separate aggravated assault cases. One of them is 3 counts of ag assault. The second one is ag assault, cruelty, and the third, felon in possession of a firearm, possession of a firearm during commission of a felony, and possession of a sawed-off shotgun. The victims in that case, Judge, were his nieces and nephews, is my understanding. He does have some older battery history, which I understand it's older, but I think it's important here. He has a simple battery conviction from 2001. He has a simple battery from 1998, 3 different simple battery arrests from the year 2000, an aggravated assault in 2001 that was dead docketed. And then, of course, he has that open case of felon in possession of a firearm. So the state would recommend a $2,500 surety bond, a no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, FVIP, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound for Miss Melissa Ham, I believe she may be on the Zoom.
Ms. Desiano, how would you like the bond broken down, the $2,500?
I'm sorry,
How would you like that bond broken down?
a
between
surety
the three
bond, Your Honor.
charges? Between the three charges.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. He has three. That would be, let's do 2,000. I'm sorry. Let's do, what is the total? 1,500. Let's do 500 on each of the cruelty and then the remaining on the battery.
Okay. Yes, this your case, Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 48 years old and has lived in the Atlanta area his entire life. He is working and has held the same job for 4 years. They do have the two children together. I would ask you to take the alleged victim's wishes into consideration. If necessary, my client does have another place to go that I believe he owns or rents in Bass Street in Atlanta. So if a stay is necessary, he can do that. I think he would prefer to go back home.
Mr. Ham is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Okay. For the battery, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For each of the cruelty, will be a $500 good bond. It makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Ham. Stay away from the Grand Avenue address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Blackman.
Next, we do position number 2, Mr. Brandon Bowden, third row.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bolden. You've been charged in case 24 CR 003024A with criminal trespass. Your history, Mr. Howard?
23. You got an open theft by taking, criminal damage to property. Second degree trespass. It's 21 SC 177858. Open trespass in state court 24 CR 002122A. You got a lot of trespass in this history.
Your Honor, this incident took place on May 12th, 2024. Officers responded to a criminal trespass call at the Chevron gas station located at 4485 Washington Road in East Point. Upon arrival, the store clerk advised the defendant has come into the gas station after being trespassed from several times. Your Honor, the defendant was last arrested for trespassing at this location on April 16th, 2024. He was before Your Honor on the SEA calendar on April 22nd, and you gave him an $1,000 SOB jail bond and a stay away from that Chevron. The state is recommending, in this case, a $500 good bond, another stay away from the Chevron, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. And I will also add, Judge, that this defendant has previously been referred to PAD, but he's no longer eligible because of his rearrest. So,
okay, Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is not working at this moment and has no income, no way to meet a surety bond. So we would be asking for a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Well, Mr. Cook, I can't keep giving him signature bonds and he keeps violating, I mean, and they're my bonds. So,
I have one explanation for that, sir. If you just would allow me to speak freely with you, sir. I don't have any
okay,
money.
hold on, Mr. Bolden. Just give me 1 second. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I'm happy to hear from you, but Mr. Cook is your lawyer and, you know, and you have a right to remain silent. I wouldn't want you getting in any more trouble. I know you've been before me before, and I know I've told you not to go back to that Chevron, and apparently you allegedly have. So, you know, I don't know what to do to keep you from doing that. I just can't keep having you get arrested and coming back before me. You want to let him speak to me, Mr. Cook?
Yeah, I would advise him not to, but I will leave that up to him.
Okay, unmute for me, courtroom two. Courtroom two, can you unmute for me, please? Thank you.
Sure, you welcome. Sir, if I could just say one thing, Judge.
Okay, good. It's up to you, Mr. Bolden. I've advised you of your rights. What do you want to say?
I was coming to trespass from that location just one time, and that was just the last time that I was here. I got a ticket, and that's it. And I came back because they had my personal property, sir. It's a cell phone. It's my only line of communication. I'm a Marine, sir. They're not allowed to take an American military man last line of communication. That owner of that store, that Chevron, sir, has my cell phone, and that's the only reason why I came back. When I got there, the police said that I shouldn't have went there. They said it's civil now. I didn't go back because I was drunk or because I'm high, sir. It's only because I needed my cell phone. That's it. I don't even have a cell phone to communicate with. I don't have any family members. I'm asking for one last signature bond because, sir, I just want to get out of jail today. And that's my only reason for even going is because they have my personal property, even after being criminally trespassed. They have
Okay,
my
Mr. Bolden, I think I remember talking to you last time about your cell phone and about you had some things there, but I also let you know that if you needed to go back there, you need to go back there with law enforcement. You
and I
know, if
did
they,
it, I still couldn't get anything resolved. That man had
okay, well then you can't keep going back there. If you can't get it resolved, they're right. It is a civil matter, okay?
what I'm saying. He took it to a criminal, and when it was a civil matter, he made it more criminal. That's what I'm saying. So it was
Well,
supposed
but you still can't go back there,
to
okay?
no, if you give me a signature bond, I'll say forget that phone, forget whatever civil ideas I have, and I just remind us that, sir, I served in the American military. I'm a Marine. You don't have to
All
keep
right. Okay,
I'm
Mr.
just
Bolden.
asking.
I remember you from last time. I'm gonna give you one more chance, okay? If you come back here after you go into that Chevron again, then we're gonna have a problem, okay?
So I understand, sir.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond, through the jail.
Thank you, sir.
Stay away from that Chevron on Washington Road and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I
Gotcha.
don't wanna see you back, Mr. Bolden, for any reason. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Next, we could go to position number 3, Mr. Ryan Chandler, third row. Third row.
Okay.
And this is Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. You've been charged in case 24 CR 003026J with simple battery against a police officer, criminal trespass, and obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 on probation and called for reckless conduct. It was a simple battery arrest with the reckless conduct arrest. 2020 obstruction, 2021 failure to appear. That's it.
Your Honor, this incident occurred on May 2nd, 2024 at the College Park MARTA station. MARTA police officers made contact with the defendant for loitering and lingering around the station. The defendant was just escorted off the property a week earlier for disruptive behavior. The defendant was asked to leave the MARTA premises at that time as he had no legitimate reason to be there again. The defendant became irate and belligerent, screaming vulgar language, threatening to fight the officers. So the officers went to escort him off the property when he picked up a bottle of Minute Maid lemonade and threw it at the officer's leg. Thereafter, the defendant ran away, and he was actually not caught by police until he returned back to the MARTA station on May 13th. And at that time, he was given a lifetime ban from MARTA. The state's recommending a signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from all MARTA facilities as he has a lifetime ban, no further violent contact with law enforcement, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound for Officer Isaiah Lee at this time.
Officer Lee, it's the court, now it's your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook?
Yeah, sure. My client's position is that he does travel on MARTA and he uses it to get to his place of work. However, we would have no objection to a signature bond. We would prefer it be through the jail. But again, he does. It is his position that he uses MARTA to get back and forth to his place of work.
Well, he has a permanent ban for MARTA, and if he keeps going to MARTA, he's gonna keep getting arrested, and he's gonna keep being right back here in courtroom two.
Yes, I
So
understand.
you cannot go back to MARTA, Mr. Callahan. You're gonna have to find another way to get around, okay? So I'll give him a signature bond on this occasion. It'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial for the simple battery, $500 signature bond through pretrial for the criminal trespass, $500 signature bond for willful obstruction through pretrial, all level 1, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from MARTA, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Cook, I got that he's homeless. What do you have?
I've got the same. Yeah.
Oh, he
You gotta
doesn't.
let the judge know.
Okay. I thought I mentioned that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so a social worker visit to help with housing. And I don't want to set him up for failure, so instead of taking it through pretrial, it'll go through the jail.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes,
So
thank
have a
you.
social worker visit with him, so maybe we can assist him with housing, Mr. Cook.
Yes, thank you.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Callahan.
I'm already home. I'm supposed to get to work if you don't give me a bank. That's all I'm saying. How supposed to get to work? That bus, that train thing. That shit cool.
Next, we can do position number 7, who is Daniel? You can't come up.
Jesus, cool.
You said number 7?
Yes.
Yes, this is Mr. Lewis. Good afternoon, sir. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. You've been charged in case 24 CR 003031B with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
11. 2024, giving false name. 2 counts of suspended license, 1 count FTA out of Douglas County. 2024, got disorderly conduct, giving false name conviction. 2023, FTA. 2019, FTA. 2018, fleeing conviction. 2018, probation. And jail is a recommendation.
Okay, Ms. Desiano.
Judge, this incident occurred December 21st of 2023. Officers were conducting a business check at the Legacy Extended Stay Hotel located at 4100 Wendell Drive in Atlanta. Officers noticed a suspicious vehicle, a 2004 Toyota Senna, parked along the right side of the building. The vehicle had no license plate, and when the driver saw the officer, he parked in a handicap spot. The officer approached the vehicle, asked him why he was on the property. The defendant advised he was trying to sell his car. As the officer continued asking questions, the officer felt the defendant started acting even more suspiciously and asked him for his license. He didn't have his license, but ran his name through GCIC, and 2 active warrants came up for Douglas County for an FTA and Tallapoosa for a probation violation. The officer attempted to arrest the defendant. The defendant fled. The officer had to tase the defendant, which was not successful. The defendant was eventually apprehended when trying to climb a fence after he tried to force his way into someone's hotel room and tried to hide under a vehicle. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from the hotel, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol allowed on bond.
Mr. Tuck.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 35 years old. He is the single father to 2 minor children. He has lived in Georgia all his life. Your Honor, he was arrested December 21st, 2023, and has been in custody in Douglas and then Harrelson since then, and he's just been transferred to Fulton. I would ask, I have no objection to the signature bond, but I would ask for the signature bond to be through the jail. He needs to get back on his feet, get his life back together, take care of his children. And I think reporting to trial services is not necessary. He's not a flight risk, and I would ask that he receives a bond through the jail. And to stay away from the hotel is fine, nothing further.
Your Honor, I'll just remind the court, the reason he was picked up was because he had an FTA. That was one of the cases, and he had another FTA, is my understanding, on his record.
And he spent 5 months in custody because of those FTAs.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Legacy Extended Stay hotel, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Lewis, if you don't show back up, they're gonna put another warrant out for you and you'll be right back here. So I'm giving you the opportunity, but make sure you come to your next court appearance, okay?
I'll be here. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
We can go to position number 13, Mr. Connie Extension.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sims. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003025E with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
4. Got an open theft by receiving in Superior Court. It's 19 SC 172556. 2021 failure to appear. 2019 theft of lost mislaid property, and a 2015 ag assault. Dead docket.
Ms. McConkey?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident occurred May 29th, 2022. The incident location is 160 Fairhaven Trail in Fairborn, Georgia. The defendant struck the victim, Jasmine Turnipseed, in the face with a closed fist multiple times, leaving a bruise under her right eye and left side of her mouth. The defendant and the victim were in a relationship at the time of the incident and shared a then 2-year-old daughter who was present at the time of the battery. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with the victim, who states that her and the defendant are no longer in a relationship. They do not live together, and they do share that one child. The incident location is the defendant's father's residence, and the victim confirmed the events in the warrant. The victim stated that she has been in contact with the defendant since the incident, but she has not seen or spoken to him since November of 2023. The victim also stated that this is not the first time the defendant had been violent towards her, and she does not wish to have any contact with the defendant. The state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. At this time, I would sound for the victim, Ms. Jasmine Turnipseed.
Ms. Turnipseed is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Sims, is 29 years old. And Your Honor, he's gainfully employed. He does car sales. And also he and his father have a buildings downtown. My client says this happened about 2 years ago. And the child is not his child. However, he has been extorted to pay for a lot of money by Miss Jasmine, who he has no intention, no desire to have any contact whatsoever, Your Honor. So please, we want to have a no contact with her, and the place is, of course, his own place. We would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial, whichever level you seem to be appropriate, and we would like to make sure that he does 160 Fairhaven. She does not live there, so my client should be able to go back there. Thank you.
Okay. For the battery, it'll be $1,500 signature bond through the jail. For the cruelty, $500 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Jasmine Turnipseed, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. He can go back to that 160 incident location as long as Ms. Turnipseed is not at that location.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, Mr. Sims.
We can go to ACDC.
Okay. Officer Milton, are you with me? Okay.
Position number 9, Newkirk.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Newkirk. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003021F with simple assault family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Newkirk 13, 2021 battery dismissed, 2020 probation, 2019 FTA, and 2017 theft by taking first offender.
Yes, Ms. McConkey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officers were dispatched to the incident location, which I have is 3068 Capri Court in East Point in regards to a fight. The owner and landlord of the property, Ms. Gayla Hicks, stated that the victim, who I believe has been arrested on felony charges, Ms. Estelle Cloud Henderson, and the defendant had been arguing when she heard the defendant say, "She stabbed me." Ms. Ricks then heard mark of a taser, and the victim called 911 and stated that she was trying to get into the bathroom that her and the defendant share because she was scared the defendant would do something to her toothbrush. This prompted an argument that continued into the victim's room, where the victim grabbed a pocket knife and swung it at the defendant to get her to leave the room. The defendant told the police that she never went into the victim's room and that the victim swung a pocket knife at her in the hallway, which caused a cut on the defendant's arm. The defendant then went into her room to retrieve her taser. The state is recommending a $1,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim. I will defer to the court in regards to the stay away, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay, so Gayla Hicks, who is that to Ms. Newkirk?
Gayla Hicks is the landlord and owner of the property that the parties are living in.
Okay. And was she arrested?
Ms. Hicks or Ms.
Yes.
Ricks? No, the landlord was not arrested.
Okay.
The victim, I believe, Ms. Estelle Cloud Henderson, was arrested.
Okay. Whose case is this? Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, the complaining witness was arrested. She did have a felony first appearance for the aggravated assault against my client. My client is 33 years old. She is the mother of one minor child. She is a Georgia resident. She is gainfully employed at McDonald's. Of course, she denies the allegations, but the warrant states that she yelled out that she was stabbed, and then the sound of a taser was heard. So I would say even if something happened for self-defense, she's been stabbed. Her arm is injured. I would ask for a signature bond through the jail. My client was obviously defending herself. And I would ask for no further, I don't know what happened at felony first appearance. I was trying to check Odyssey, but I don't think it's updated yet. But I would ask for her to be able to go back to the incident location. She's also stated that she has been living there for several months, and the complaining witness here has been living there for 2 weeks. So
What's the lady name in felony first appearance?
her name is Estelle, Estelle Cloud Henderson.
All right, let me check real quick.
Okay. Okay, I make my determination about whether she can return in a moment. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Miss Estelle Cloud Henderson. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. If Miss Henderson, given that there's no further contact, if Miss Henderson is in the household at Capri Court, then Ms. Newkirk necessarily can't be there since it's a no further contact. But I will reserve ruling until Mr. Howard comes back.
She didn't take any notes, so Judge, she didn't take no notes.
Okay,
So I know the
thank
lady
you.
got a good bond. She did get a good bond though, but that's all I know.
Okay. So no further contact. I won't limit her from the Capri Court address, but if Miss Cloud Henderson is there, Ms. Newkirk obviously can't be there if it's the same household.
Your Honor, just to enable her to get out of the jail a little bit, even if it's a little bit quicker, can she have the signature bond through the jail?
I would, but she's got a probation violation. She has a failure to appear. I need to make sure that she's monitored.
Oh. Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
What's that bond amount?
$2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Okay.
Good luck to you, Ms. Newkirk. Who do we have next?
Actually, this is.
Position 14, Ms. Kelsatina Pile.
Okay. Didn't I see Ms. Telia yesterday?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did, Your Honor. She's booked in today for a separate charge with a separate victim.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Telia. You've been charged in case 24 CR 003033J with terroristic threats and acts. What's the history, Mr. Howard?
5th arrest. Got to open criminal damage to property out of Douglas County. Yes, sir.
Okay, and what was yesterday's case, Ms. Bukaki? What was she charged with and what did I give her?
Yesterday, she had 3 counts of harassing communications with the victim's mom and also the victim's minor child.
And I apologize. Before, she had 3 charges yesterday, but she only had 1 charge with 3 different people. So I don't know if we want to readdress that bond today. But she only had a $3,000 bond for 1 charge, not 3.
Okay, so are there 3 charges?
Yes, it's my understanding that she has 3 separate harassing communications charges.
So she has 3 charges now. Yesterday on the calendar, there was only 1 charge, so she only got 1 bond for that 1 harassing communication with 3 different victims.
Were three separate accusations filed? Because I had filed, I believe I had filed.
They were not attached to the calendar at the time. We did not catch it until now, when her new case came up. So there is 3 accusations filed now attached to the other case. It was just 1 bond was addressed yesterday. So if that $3,000 is supposed to be split up to $1,000 to each charge, then we need to do amended order.
Okay, my notes from yesterday indicate that first of all, this was a Riverside issue. And second of all, I gave her a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. If all of those charges involve the same, well, why don't we just start from the top, because I'm not sure about the new charge or the old charges. So are you, Ms. Makaki, are you ready to go forward with the charges from yesterday as well as the charge for today, so we can address them all again?
Yes,
Yeah, I
she's
started
muted.
to cut in. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera. I'm gonna try to fix it. But as far as yesterday, if we give a signature bond to those two additional charges that weren't addressed, that's fine.
Okay,
It was a Riverside, whether it was one charge, three charges, it's still the same result. So we can, I don't know if someone wants to submit a modified bond order for yesterday, the state will consent to that, and then we can address the case that was added today, and we can just handle it that way. I think that'd be the most easiest.
okay, so, but all the harassing communications, the now that there are three, they all came out of the same offense date of
Correct, and they
3/24.
were all filed yesterday, but apparently they didn't appear on the calendar. So we did not file additional accusations on yesterday's case. They just were not added to the calendar for whatever reason. The
Okay,
only thing that we filed was the new case that's on the calendar for today, if that makes sense.
And
okay,
that's
yeah, that
fine.
makes
So
sense.
yesterday I only went off of what I had on the calendar, which was one.
Correct.
Okay.
All
So
right, so
whatever was left
we'll break that $3,000 SOB down to $1,000 per charge, okay?
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Strong, if we can get that done and with all the other conditions that I had on there. So let's talk about the terroristic threats, case 24 CR 003033J. Yes,
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy.
So the defendant texted the victim, Ms. Jaslyn Winston, and told her that her and another male subject would shoot up her residence again. We did have a chance to talk to the victim, Ms. Jaslyn Winston, who stated that she doesn't know the defendant. She stated that the defendant began harassing her friend, Joy Foster, who was the victim, one of the victims in the harassing communications case from yesterday, and that the defendant somehow got her number and began harassing the victim, Ms. Jaslyn Winston, and Ms. Winston's son. The victim stated that her house was shot on May 6th, and she did not know who it was until she received a text from the defendant where the defendant stated that she would shoot her house again. The victim stated that she does not know why the defendant is harassing her, and she wants no contact with the defendant and wants the defendant to stay away from her residence. The state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond for the terroristic threats, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the victim's residence, which I have is 618 Hemperley Road in South Fulton, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And at this time, I will sound for the victim, Ms. Jaslyn Winston, who I believe is on the Zoom.
On the line that wishes to address the court, and it's your opportunity to do so.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you need to activate your camera for me.
Is it activated?
Okay, yes, it is. And raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
Like you heard, I do not know this individual. She has been harassing my friend. I didn't know that it escalated to her getting a hold of her contacts and begin communicating with like her contacts in my friend's phone until about late March when I was included in a group chat of my friend Joy Foster's contacts. And not only was I included in this contact with all these people out of my friend's phone, my daughter, she was also included in this group chat. And I mean, it was just vulgar language. It was a lot going on. And so I didn't know what was going on until I realized, like, okay, this had something to do with my friend Joy Foster. So I reached out to her and I asked her what was going on. And that's when she explained to me that this had been taking place like earlier in March. And that's when she had to reach out to her local department and detective. And so maybe like a day later, this individual, she started texting me. So every time she would text me from a different number, I would just have to block her. But then when she started calling my child's name on a first name basis, I started getting really concerned. And then my house was shot up on last Monday, May 6th. And then this defendant, she texted my phone from a phone number that was not in my contact, pretending to be my kid's father. And then eventually she just, she disclosed herself within the text and was like, I'll shoot your house up again, calling me out my name. And that's when I had to go to my police department because, I mean, it's not like this incident didn't happen. Like my house was targeted 4 o'clock in the morning last Monday. A vehicle was damaged. A bullet came through my master bedroom where me and my kids slept. And yeah. And so that's when I felt like I need to get involved. And like I said, I don't know this individual and I have kids. And my kids go to the same school as my friend Joy Foster's child. And it's like a close relationship, but I don't know this person. And I don't understand why she would even text my phone threatening me like that when this incident did take place.
May I please ask some questions, Your Honor? I want to
Yes,
ask
Ms.
witness,
Kim.
what number was the one that was texting you? Do you have a number?
Yes, I do. Give me a second to locate these screenshots.
And also date and time?
Say that again.
Judge,
The date and time?
I'm not
date?
sure what this has to do with
It
the
was,
bond.
okay, May 9, all right? That's what the warrant is claiming. May 9, 5:03 p.m. that Miss Jaslyn Winston received a text. You know where my client was at the time?
Okay, so that was
He was.
communication because it was on a Tuesday, on May 6th.
Okay, my client's phone was actually taken by East Point jail, a police officer. And this warrant was written by South Fulton. And when my client was incarcerated for cases that she had no clue about. She gave her password to the police officer to check all the records of text. She never texted these people. I assume Joey Foster is probably the one who's making all these up.
Okay, the same way
blaming
Your
my
Honor,
client.
Ms.
It's
Winston,
not
can you
fair
confirm again the date that you got that text message?
on May 7th.
Okay, on May 7th. And I believe the defendant was arrested on May 8th. And I will also point out that she texts from a bunch of different phone numbers. She uses a Text Now app, which I believe you can text. It's an app that you go into and you put in the number that you want to text and it'll show up as a different number.
Not my client.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'll let you all
Okay,
go.
you cannot just assume
Okay, but we're not, this is just a bond hearing today. We're not trying to litigate this matter. So I let you all say what you needed to. So let's get back on track here. Ms. Winston, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Let's see. I believe I had spoken with Ms. McCockey. Ms. Kim, do you have anything else that you would like to say?
There was no probable cause for the record. Investigator or police department should be investigating before they take away my client's liberty. Arrest is a serious issue. She is losing her job. She has been in jail from May 8th for something that she didn't even know about. That's all I want to say.
Okay, you wanna make a suggestion to me what the bond should be?
A signature on bond jail, Your Honor. Absolutely Riverside issue.
Okay.
It's our position, it's not a Riverside issue because she was booked on this particular charge within the last 24 hours.
This was arrest.
Okay, don't worry, Miss Kim. Hold on. It's gonna be a signature bond. It's gonna be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Jasmine Winston. Stay away from from Miss Winston's address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Could we also have that she stay away from the child's school? It's just a little concerning. If she could just stay away from the child's school as well. I don't know if the victim wants to state what that address is, but
what is she? My client doesn't even know her. She doesn't even know that she had a child. I don't even know what school that she goes to. My client does not know anything about this.
Well, if that's the case, then she should have no problem staying away.
No problem, but she doesn't know where her child is going to school.
Well, does anybody know where her child is going to school? What's the name of the school?
I'm back, Your Honor. My phone is hot. Had to cool off before it can restart.
What's the name of your child's school, Miss Winston?
The Main Street Academy.
Okay, and stay away from the Main Street Academy. All right, that shouldn't be a problem. All
Miss,
right.
ask my client whether that school is within her work. Is it close from your employment? I just want to make sure. Okay.
I don't know where that school is.
Okay, all right. Good luck to you, ma'am. Who do we have next? We'll see you next time. Officer Milton, thank you.
We do position number 15, Mr. William Vega.
Okay, yes, good afternoon, Mr. Vega. Let's see, you've been charged in case 24 CR 003027A with disorderly conduct. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, 2013, facilitating aggravated unlicensed operation conviction. That's out of New York City.
Okay, Ms. Makaki?
So officers responded to the incident location, which I have is 1940 Fisher Road in Atlanta, in reference to a fight in progress call. Upon arrival, the officers spoke with the defendant, who stated that he was upset with the victim, Miss Marlene Gills, due to suspicions of infidelity. The defendant stated that he had gathered the victim's adult toys in a bag and threw them at her, at which point the victim threw them back at him. The officer spoke with the victim, who advised that the defendant was intoxicated and came in the house angry. The victim further advised that the defendant stated, "I will shoot you," while he walked outside the home. The victim's 17-year-old daughter, who was present, confirmed the events and added that the defendant broke the bathroom curtains by pulling on them. The victim and the defendant are in a relationship. They live together at the incident location. They share 2 children. The victim confirmed the events in the warrant, and she stated that she is in fear of the defendant because he has threatened to shoot her in front of her 3 children. The victim further stated this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her, and they have domestic violence history in New York. The victim also stated that she does not want any contact with the defendant and wants him to stay away from the residence. The state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, and 1-day anger management. At this time, I will sound for the victim, Miss Marlene Gills.
I'm here.
Yes, Ms. Gills, if you'll raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Okay, so I'm leaving. I'm gonna take my kids and I'm going to go to another location. All I ask is that if he's gonna get out, to not have come to the apartment until I am gone, which should be by next week. I'm hoping. I just have to get my transportation together. But I am in the middle of packing, and I don't want to have to fear or keep looking over my shoulder because he comes back this way. Because he's never said that he was going to shoot. He said, "I'm going to shoot you, bitch. You lucky I'm not going to shoot you." That's what he said. He said that in front of my children. And it's not anything about infidelity. I am handicapped. I have neuropathy. My spine is messed up. All I do is go to work, and I come home and I take care of my kids. And when he's drinking and sniffing coke, he does not know how to act, and he binges on days, and he is accusing me of doing things. I don't have access to a car. I don't have my license. He is the one that is always out in the street, and I am left to take care of my kids, and that's what I do. All I am asking is for this man to stay away from me. It is no getting back together. I just want to be able to leave and know that I am safe. And that my kids are safe. And my youngest son, my 7-year-old, even told the officer what had happened because she questioned everybody that was in the house. I just want to make sure that I am safe so that I can leave peacefully. And that's it. Please.
Okay, thank you for being here, Ms. Gills.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client, Mr. Vega, is 42 years old, and apparently they have been together. And Your Honor, she married another person. 14 years they lived together. My client was a transportation rider. My client has no objection to stay away. Actually,
Excuse me, sir, sir.
No, Ms. Gills. No, we
Please.
don't interrupt. Go ahead.
My client, that's his apartment, Your Honor. He has no objection to have no contact with her as long as he has a third-party transfer for his two children. 8 and 7 years old, two boys are his children, and he wants to contact. Your Honor, my client got fired when he was arrested for this from being a tow truck driver. He has been working that company for 1996, but apparently being arrested for this kind of issues. He couldn't keep his job. He has up to 11th grade of education. He has to find his new job. Your Honor, this is causing a lot of difficulties to my client's life. We would like to request for being allowed to return back home, and no further contact is okay. Signature on bond through jail, Your Honor.
Anybody else have anything to say?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
I had a question to ask Ms. Gills or Gills.
Okay, so Ms. Gills, I want you to compose yourself for us, okay? So I understand that you're emotional, but get yourself together for me, and we'll unmute you so that you can. Okay, all right. Can we get out Ms. Gills unmuted?
Hi, Ms. Gill. My name is Ian, and I'm one of the prosecutors helping in this case today. So you say you plan on leaving the residence, that's correct?
Yes.
But you need about a week? Or is
Yes.
it more than a week? Okay.
No,
I'm sorry, go ahead. What was that?
no, it's not. It's just that he's lying, but it's okay.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all right.
fine. So you need
It's all
about a
right.
week
I
to
just
get,
need.
to get your belongings. And then is
I-
the defendant, as far as your children, is he legitimized or is there a custody order currently in place?
No custody, nothing like that.
That
The
was
thing is,
fine.
I'm not the type to keep the kids away from him, but I have to go, and that's what he always uses are the kids. I have to go. Like,
Well,
this has been going on for 14 years. He's in and out of jobs because of his alcoholism and his substance abuse.
okay. Thank you, Ms. Shields. So with that being said, I would just ask that the defendant not be allowed to return to the address as long as the victim is there. I don't think there's a need for a third party transfer because there is no legitimate, he's not legitimated. There's no custody order in place. So if she's not comfortable with having contact with the defendant, we're not asking for a third party transfer. And we are asking for no contact. That's all.
Okay, so you all were never married, Ms. Gills?
No.
Okay.
She married somebody else, so she's moving out.
Okay.
All
right. Okay. That's the only question I had. Okay. So, I'm going to start with the no contact. No contact means absolutely no contact, Mr. Vega. So you cannot call her, you can't email her, you can't text her, you can have absolutely no contact with Ms. Gills. Unless the children are legitimated, then you all have to work that out in some other way, but I'm not going to have a third party contact given that. So it will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Ms. Gills. You are to stay away from the 1940 Fisher Road address until Ms. Gills is no longer residing there. I'll say within the next 2 weeks, you can go with law enforcement to see with a law enforcement escort to see if Ms. Gills has moved out. If she has moved out, then you can go back there. If she has not moved out, then you necessarily cannot be there. no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor,
Okay.
those two boys are 7 and 8 years old. They were not even at the incident location at the time.
They were.
No, all I'm saying is that Ms. Kim, if he wants to see the children, he's gonna have to go through another court to have visitation, okay?
Your Honor, my means of transportation is at that apartment. My vehicle is parked in front of that apartment. All my stuff is in the apartment. I mean, I that's where I live at. I have no place else to go.
His mother lives down here along with his brother, and he has a place to go. I just need time. I'm not.
Okay, so I'm giving you 2 weeks, Ms. Gills.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so.
I will be gone.
All right,
I promise.
so he can go back there in 2 weeks with law enforcement to make sure that she's gone. If you want to,
Yes, sir.
All right, that's the order of the court.
Can I have an escort there to get some stuff and my vehicle and I'll leave? I mean, that's my only means of transportation. My car is in front of that apartment complex.
Your Honor, please give me my 2 weeks to leave. Please, that's all I'm asking you. I promise I am going to be gone. Please. Just 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Okay, well, he can make arrangements through
The
someone
security-
else but
The security officer.
he is not to be there. If he makes arrangements through a third party to retrieve some of his belongings, that's fine with the court.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can facilitate that, but he's not to go back to that apartment or be around the alleged victim for the
Excuse me,
2
Your Honor.
weeks.
Is there any way possible that I can use like a police escort to go and get like some things in my vehicle? And I'll leave?
No, I don't want you personally returning to that location at this time, sir. If you have a third party such as your mother who is willing to go pick some things up for you, that's fine with the court. But you necessarily cannot go there, okay? All right, who do we have next?
We have the waiver, Your Honor, position number 8, Mitchell.
May I leave?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
getting
you.
here.
Thank you.
Okay, Mitchell is a waiver.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Position 8, case 24 CR 003032J. Chanel Mitchell charged with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history?
Fifth arrest, resident of Phoenix, Arizona. Last arrest was February, trespass conviction. Had another arrest from February, trespass, that was NOD, 2017 suspended license, dismissed.
Your Honor, this incident occurred on May 13th, 2024. Officers responded to the Cheesecake Factory at Lenox Mall, located at 3393 Peachtree Road Northeast in Atlanta, in reference to a criminal trespass. Upon arrival, the officer met with the mall security, who stated that the defendant was sitting on the patio of the Cheesecake Factory and refusing to leave after being asked to do so. The officer approached the defendant and gave her an opportunity to leave the restaurant. The defendant stated it was raining and she was on public property, so she was not going anywhere. She was then arrested and transported to the precinct in order to be searched by a female officer. And while conducting that search, the defendant attempted to bite and spit towards the female officer that was searching her. The state's recommending a signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from the incident location, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond. And I know no further violent contact with law enforcement.
Okay. Mr. Ty, if it's okay with you, it'll be a $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each charge, which makes for a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Cheesecake Factory, no further violent contact with law enforcement, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I believe that completes the 2 o'clock calendar. Let's see, Ms. Champion, whenever you're ready for me. I'm sorry, Ms. Strong. Ms. Champion was with me this morning.
And I understand. Position number 1 was a $2,000 good bond to be reset for May 28th SAP. Position number 2, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Position number 3 was a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Position 4, $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 5, $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Position number 6 was a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. 7, $2,000 signature bond through the jail. 8, $2,000 signature bond through the jail. 9 was a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Position number 10 was a $1,000 good bond, and it'll be reset for tomorrow. Position number 11 is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 12, $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 13, $2,000 signature bond through the jail. 14, $5,000 signature bond through the jail, and position number 15 was a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2.
Number 3.
I ain't hear you.
What was number 3 again? I know it was jail. I forgot that amount. I didn't have it.
2.
2,000.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.